Well, this is the end of lap 48. And here is Alain Prost. Gap was 1.2 seconds. Prost goes through and completes the lap. And the gap has increased to 2.2 seconds. See, Prost was able to make better use of the traffic, and you can see now that he's pulled out quite a cushion over Nigel Mansell.
And I've just seen the fond metal go past smoking badly and possibly putting an oil slick down on the circuit.
Well, if he is, Griard will not be at all popular, because this is exactly what happened when an oil union worked loose in practice yesterday, and Griard drove round for 3 laps, consistently spraying oil over the circuit to the detriment of a lot of drivers, and Mika Hakkinen failed probably to qualify in the Lotus by about 3/100ths of a second because of that, and Ayrton Senna actually spun on Griard's oil.
There is Griard, and there is the smoke from the back, yes, and it doesn't appears to be only being spread about in smoke form at the moment, obviously going onto the exhaust pipe. But if it becomes more of a gusher, some of that will get onto the track in liquid, slippery form.
And as you see, Nigel Mansell is now the fastest man on the circuit. 1 minute 19.168 to close within 1.5 seconds of Prost as Griard draws up underneath my commentary position. And I'm looking down on the mechanics who have been spraying fire extinguisher fluid on the rear of the car. Griard is getting out to retire. So the Frenchman's race is run. 1 World Championship point in his career when he finished 6th in the French Grand Prix for the Ligier team. But look at this. What a charge by Nigel Mansell. Lap 50. And Ayrton Senna coming up to the Benetton Ford of Nelson Piquet, who is in 6th position, long since lapped, of course, by Prost, Mansell, and now he's going to be lapped by the 3rd position man, Ayrton Senna. So the race is getting pretty spread out.
And we've just heard from the pits that Patrese has gearbox problems, so that explains Patrese relative disappointment in this race from pole position. He looked set to dominate possibly, and certainly to be right up battling for the lead, but the semi-automatic gearbox on the Williams still causing them grief. And if anything becomes between the Williams team and the World Championship this year, it will without any doubt be their semi-automatic gearbox and the early use of it before it was fully developed.
Nigel Mansell right with Alain Prost, and you can see for yourself how close they are as they come through to complete lap 54, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 cars ahead of them that they will shortly catch, and this could be Nigel Mansell's golden opportunity to get past Alain Prost if the Frenchman fumbles the traffic. And look at the way the Williams is starting to close.
Yes, and this is fine driving by Mansell. He can see the cars in front. He's getting himself into position and making Prost, I'm sure, feel very uncomfortable. And Mansell's trying to get around the outside. He's got in front of Prost round the outside now. That is something else. Sensational stuff from Mansell to outbrake Alain Prost round the outside and just put yourself across his bows is great skill. It's also pretty brave.
Here's a replay. There's Alain Prost. Mansell drives right up alongside him, gets half a car's length, moves across. Prost is forced back. That's absolutely legitimate. And Nigel Mansell takes the lead as he had done before. And you can see now he's behind his ailing teammate, Riccardo Patrese, as Prost goes through and takes Roberto Moreno, who is in 8th position.
Yes, and I think that manoeuvre rather got to Prost. I detected a little bit of anger then, the way he was going following Nigel past the back markers. He looked pretty angry into the hairpin, and so he should be embarrassed. He went to the inside to protect the corner, and Mansell saw the opportunity and just went straight to the outside, gave himself a much faster line to the corners. Prost tries again.
Yeah, and Patrese, I suspect, is helping Nigel Mansell there. He's let Mansell through. He can see Prost behind him. He knows he's got no chance in this race, which at the present moment, on lap 56, is led by Nigel Mansell. There is Prost in second position. Senna is 35 seconds behind in third place, ahead of Alesi, who is fourth. Riccardo Patrese fifth, and Nelson Piquet in sixth position, one lap down. Into the pits comes Stefano Modena in his Tyrrell Honda to change of tyres.
And the body language of that arrival was a bit more fundamental than tyres. Came in a bit slowly, but looks to me like, well, he's going out again, but it didn't look like a very committed hurry to me. So there is Mansell. And he's got a little bit of space. Back to Alain Prost, courtesy of the traffic and his charging driving. There's the caption, 14 laps to go, and Mansell now has a 4-second lead. And now Piquet coming into the pits. Is this for yet more tyres, more Pirellis? And it does seem to have been not their day. Whoops, oh, nearly dropped the revs. Nearly stalled it.
We're riding with the lead Williams now as Mansell skirts the right-hander, hugging the edge. Now this is the drop downhill underneath the bridge into the chicane. Right, left, hard on the brakes for the Lycée, which is the hairpin right to complete the lap. Accelerating away past the pits up into fifth gear, 140 miles an hour into the left-hander, which leads into the fourth gear, right-handed Grand Courbe, as Prost goes through 5.5 seconds behind Mansell, having lapped marginally faster on his 62nd lap than the Williams. It'll be interesting to see whether Prost is trying to pull something out of the bag in the closing stages of the race to try for his 6th victory in France.
Yes, I think he's going to struggle. Mansell seems to just have the edge on this, seems to be controlling the race and looking pretty happy.
And Andrea De Cesaris in the Jordan Ford moves up into 6th position. Eddie Jordan's team, brand new, which has done so brilliantly well in racing this year, is back in the points. Fingers crossed, everybody who is a Nigel Mansell or a Williams Renault fan, because remember what happened to Nigel Mansell in Canada when, with victory securely in his grasp, up to the last corner he securely went, only to roll to a frustrated and frenzied standstill and lose first place and finish 6th.
And as Roberto Moreno, he's been going slower and slower. Not a good day for the Benettons. That's a retirement.
Nigel Mansell then leads, and we're waiting for Alain Prost. It's 6.9 seconds, and Mansell is pulling away, and I wonder what the atmosphere in the Williams pit is. Well, Jonathan Palmer is there, and he can tell us.
Well, of course, they've been in this situation only a few races ago at Montreal, and there's no complacency whatsoever about the Williams pit now. They've still got 4 tyres out in their blankets just in case there should be a drama. All the mechanics still standing by. People looking pretty apprehensive, obviously with fingers crossed this time.
Well, we can keep them firmly crossed, but things are looking good for Nigel Mansell. Those lumps on the road are bits of rubber that have come off the tyres. That is Frank Williams himself looking impassive, as he did in Canada when Nigel Mansell was almost home and dry for victory, the first of 1991 for the Englishman. And if Nigel Mansell wins, I should think this is going to put another £20,000 or £50,000 on the Silverstone gate for the British Grand Prix next weekend, because Silverstone is Nigel Mansell's circuit. He's always got a tremendous backing from the British crowd, which is worth about a second a lap to him, slight exaggeration. But Mansell will be on a terrific high if he wins here and goes to Silverstone next weekend, almost certainly in second position in the World Championship, albeit some 25 points behind Ayrton Senna. If the Brazilian finishes in the third place that he is holding now, and this is lap 70, just this, lap 71 and lap 72 to go, with Mansell now nearly 7 seconds ahead of Alain Prost. Senna is 38 seconds behind Prost, 2 seconds ahead of Alesi, who is fourth. Patrese is a lap down in fifth place. De Cesaris is still sixth in the Jordan.
Keep seeing Mansell's appeared to have a problem 2 corners ago around that slow hairpin. The car seems to stutter, but it gets going again. And it doesn't seem to be a serious problem. And the other thing is that Prost seems to have given up the chase, settled for second place when he had Piquet between them. He didn't really make a big effort to get past Piquet or to hurry. He's now passed him, but he looks like he's just going to follow Mansell around and pick up his 6 points for second place.
Well, meantime, behind the first two, Mansell and Prost, things are getting closer as Nigel Mansell